Emmy,
Yes.
I know you've traveled around the world and you've performed in many places. Could you tell us about the moment you had in Monte Carlo?
Oh, that was a true delight because we had heard of Princess Grace and Prince Rainier from the news and from photographs, and in fact I bought a little book that had a photograph especially of her. It was about Grace Kelly, the Philadelphia young lady who was a movie star in Hollywood and became beloved really throughout the world, I think so, because of her largesse. I can say I have my own ability to say, put upon you the opportunity to go into what you love so much, writing poetry such as my mother did, raising particular kinds of beautiful flowers such as the orchid that you see, which is dedicated to my mother, whose birthday was today. The kind of thing that goes beyond, say, bringing music to a children's hospital wing, but saying maybe if they have some difficulty speaking or singing, as I do at this moment, my being able to, with my organization, Emme Kemp organization, maybe we call it that, it would bear my name though, because I'd like people to know who did this for this, with this particular opportunity to have such a thing as an Emme Kemp Foundation. Let's cure this with all of our knowledge, and I believe in knowledge. I would like to study more. That's one thing I'd love to do.
You don't remember Josephine Baker?
Yes.
Rumor has it that you actually played for the party.
Welcoming her back. I like to go around and talk to people about where they are, if it happens to be a place that I'm enjoying. And I was, say, 3 seasons at the Waldorf Astoria, which is going to be something else other than the place that it was when I was there in the 68 to 70. But in that particular hotel, I found out later that upstairs in what was called the Towers, there was a piano. Later on, when they moved it downstairs, I wasn't working there regularly anymore, but I had the opportunity to play the piano that was the belonging of Cole Porter, a great Broadway composer. And also he did film. I believe Cole Porter contributed to the score of one that featured Princess Grace as the person that was really the subject of the book, which was called Philadelphia Story. And by coincidence, probably not. But just because Princess Grace, or Grace Kelly as she was known as before she married, Josephine Baker was at a club, bringing back the history, but things can happen the same way now, that a person will be excluded from being a certain place because they are not dressed a certain way, but what is very still common, they may not say so out loud, and this is 2020, for Women's History Month, it should be brought out loud, not a loud voice, that's not what I mean, but loudly saying in your ear, why am I not accepting these particular people here?
You mentioned earlier. You mentioned Mary Lou Williams and Hazel Scott,
yes,
and other people who are associated with the Harlem Renaissance as a part of this Women's History Month.
Yes.
Do you have any music in particular, or even any tune you'd like to play for us that might relate to one of those women? Or how about one of your own compositions, like Tomorrow's Woman?
Well, I think I'd rather do at this time something that is a little more specific.
Okay.
As to what we love. And that's, we're talking, I started speaking a little bit about all of us being related. And then there are those who feel that I want to have a family of my own. I want children. I don't have any, never had any, but I call them all my children. But sometimes, as Duke Ellington said, there was a book that Duke co-wrote with a gentleman, actually, I believe was from UK, and it was called Music is My Mistress. And this song that I wrote, this song is called 6 o'clock supper. And there are people who seem to only love themselves. No, not necessarily so. This is a certain sort of thing that you can be by yourself. And you can love something, you can love like your music, you can love your career more than anything or anybody. The main thing is not deceiving someone into thinking, I'm going to be the one and only person in their life. No, I learned from the experience. With a young man, I discovered that the one thing that I really admired most about him, and the thing that I could take from him as maybe he didn't care for me as I cared for him, that is the ability to shut everything out and become what you love to be, and perhaps what you really love most. And it was called a beautiful moment. Just for a beautiful moment. Just for a beautiful moment. I'm gonna stop for a while to share the night, far from the light. Maybe he's a rural dweller, has a farm. He knows I couldn't stay here. It's just too far away here. How could I fit? How could I sit watching life passing by me out there? Oh, 6 o'clock suppers, same thing every day. Music on Saturday night, movies on Saturday night. Sooner or later, we turn on each other. We're changing each other's lives. Can one man replace all the music that is so much a part of me? How can one woman replace all the music that is so part of me? He is now secure. She is now so sure. However, supper. I think I need solitude. Sooner or later. Let's fast forward. I can't change somebody else. How can they take the place of what is really so much a part of me? They're secure, they're sure, and strong now. But one day it would end up wrong. So when I'm passing, I just stop by for a moment. Now and then we share a moment. One beautiful moment. It was beautiful. What a moment.
You wrote for Broadway, right?
Yes!
Yeah.
Harlem Takes You. Bubbling Brown Sugar was set in the period of the Harlem Renaissance. Two old-timers, Avon Long, who was in early sporting life, Joe Adams, which was part of a time that was the inception of what was great. That was traveling, yeah. When you were a Pullman porter. That was Joe Adams from Charleston, South Carolina. And that was the town that the music of the Gershwins, the script from Porgy and Bess, was presented every year. Festivals, they're wonderful. There's one coming to Chicago soon. Maybe I'll be part of it. Let's remember that. And I'm going to go on to Harlem Takes You, back to New York, where I live. Shakes you, makes you feel. I never knew I could feel as great as this. Wow, I really got shot full of rhythm. Shouts dance forever. The beats in my heart. Harlem's my kind of heaven. Music is pumping through every vein. Bubbles are bumping around in my brain. It's the first time in life I'm having a ball. I wasn't living it all. Now I know what was missing was color. Being proper could not have been duller. Or I've learned how to be free. I'm just gonna be. If I'm lucky, I just may survive. Harlem makes you feel. Do you live in Harlem? Well, pay us a visit. Pretty soon, you might not be able to see the skyline as much as you did before. So many tall buildings. All over the world it's that way, but especially New York City. Chicago's doing it too. My name is Emme Kemp. Collaborator Danny Holgate played my audition as I understudied. Thelma Carpenter, Josephine P. Miss, Carolyn Bird, and I also played in the pit sometimes. And I played the gospel. And I played the Carolyn Bird sang, why should I feel discouraged? Why should the shadows come? Why should my heart feel lonely and long for heaven and home? I've got my season. I've got my hero. I've got my Lord. His eyes on the sparrow. And I know He watches me. This is not the arrangement that the gentleman I admire so much set up, but I sing. As I sing because I'm happy. Sing because I'm free. I know God's eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. I sing because I'm happy. Sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. Putting in double time. Queen Yana and I did this song in a show called Someone to Sing To. This was in Berlin. They loved it. Chapman, this is kind of a little vestige of your arrangement. Sorry. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. His eyes on the sparrow. And I know He watches me. Oh yeah. You don't have anything to worry about. I'm not taking your place, Mahalia. It's impossible. Thank you. That was really more like one of those Whitney Houston, yeah, like that. But who can replace Whitney Houston? Who can think about the successful comings together? Coming together, I'm talking about of mates, whatever the mate is and whomever and whatever he does. There seemed to be the longevity in couples like Bishop Tutu. I'm thinking about the women behind the men. I'm thinking about one of the women I admire, It was not a big do. Yes, it was. Anything that's in the Cathedral of St. John's of Violin. With me sitting next to Mrs. Tutu. Anything that's in a lecture in Northern California. Going to Southern California with a man who put together the story of many people who had no stories before they were laid out for them. Bringing people together, that's the thing I do. I love to do. And one that I admire so much, the woman behind the man. W.C. Handy's wife? Putting those bands together so they could work. Make a place for them in Memphis, in Chicago for a while, which is where I was born. One of the St. Louis blues, written by Handy, turned up in bubbling brown sugar. I hate to see the evening sun go down. That was on that unsuccessful trip. I hate to see the evening sun go down. When they came to the World's Fair and found out that it closed. And then Mr. Handy heard a woman, it seems from a long way away, say, I wouldn't want to live in Carroll. She was hanging clothes online. This is from his book. It actually happened. He slept on the cobblestones, but he said, I'm going to get to the fair. It was a different fair, but he pushed on and he made it. And moving from Memphis to Chicago, finally to New York, the woman behind the man. But in dedication to all women, to all the men, that they're pushing them to where you want to be. Up. And all of us women appreciate your support of us. Mrs. Marion Blake, wife of, on Broadway, 1921 to 2020. 19, sooner than that, they had a show on Broadway. Audrey McDonald. It wasn't necessarily the same script for Miller and Lyle, but there were women behind them too. And there was a woman, daughter of Mr. Miller, Flournoy Miller. You can't forget her. You couldn't forget her man either. Bunny Biggs, who danced with Duke Ellington's Sacred Show. I'm wild about Harry. About Harry, and Harry's wild about, cannot do without. He's just wild about me. Well, I got into being one who could not wait to get to the piano, rather than you've got to practice now, as some children and grown people too. Who comes to be able to, it seems, exhibit some talent. My brother took piano lessons. He was 10 years older than I. And one day it was said that I kind of toddled up to the piano. I saw this page there on the piano, and there was a man on a horseback, and he had a lariat in his hand, and he had like a cowboy hat on, like the Lone Ranger or whatever. And I thought something, maybe it wasn't that, but something like that. Oh, that was called Home on the Range. Ah, I wasn't playing with all the fingers then, but that's what they thought, that, hey, it sounds like she's learned to play what's on Brother's page. goodness. But also my mother was starting to give me dance lessons. I had ballet and acrobatic. I've never been that acrobatic, but it was good for me. It was a short-lived time, though, because Granny said, no, she's not going to take, no. It's because she had some old-fashioned ideas about, dancing and the life of an entertainer, perhaps, in the first place. And she thought, as my mother had to come to think, because Granny was kind of a powerhouse around our house. The family was close. Daddy was doing what he did, which was insurance. He loved to sell insurance, and that's what he did. When we came to Chicago, when we came to St. Louis, actually, though, he had been on radio, advertising insurance for the family, insurance for whomever. That's a good thing. Maybe to the kind of insurance, even when he moved on to Chicago and later worked in Detroit, the kind of insurance that you take out on a home that you perhaps own. And home has also been one of my favorite words. Water I love. I love to drink water. And I'm looking for some, like many people are, looking for some clear water to drink now. Music from America. Cool, clear water. All night I've roamed, far from home, longing for a taste of water. Cool, clear water. I played what I heard. I learned to read music. I would like to study more in theory now. I would say, this is the 21st century. I want to learn 22nd century music. And it's there for us. Learning is one of my favorite pastimes. Not a pastime. I was learning better when I could see better. But I can hear. Thank goodness I can hear. And my passion, I don't even like using that word, because I'm passionate about a number of things, about the condition of the world, of my family, of my world family, which seems to not necessarily be that interested in knowing. They will, kind of accept and decide that over here, they're doing so and so and so, I'm going to do that too. But go for yourself. Evaluate for yourself. In my particular period at this time, I'm still wanting to learn. And if there is a residency that I fit into, I would like to take that and help others understand who they are from the specific point of examining, truly analyzing with not necessarily what can I give them to calm them down. What can I give them? Inner peace comes from really understanding that, as my mother said, Emerline, you've got a long way to go, and remember this, you are no better than anybody else. I'd like people to understand that. Above all, get understanding. I'm trying to get it myself. And there are so many instances that we can come across that help us not be dissatisfied with where we are and what we're doing, but all of us are connected. Willing to accept the connection. There may even be a blood connection. Don't run away from who you are. I'm sitting still listening. Thank you.
Just for a beautiful moment, I'm gonna stop for a while to share the night, far from the lights, far from the city's style. but he knows that I couldn't stay here. It's just too far away. How could I sit watching life passing by me out there? Or little chintz curtains, kids in the kitchen, movies on Saturday night. Sooner or later, we turn on each other for change in each other's life. And can one man replace all the music that is so much a part of me? Though he's secure and strong now, one day it would all end up wrong. Oh, 6 o'clock supper, kids in the kitchen, movies on Saturday night. Sooner or later, we turn on each other for change in each other's life. And one man replace all the music that is so much a part of me. Though he's secure and strong now, I'm sure it would all turn out wrong. So when I'm passing, I just stop by for a moment. Now and then we shared a moment. One beautiful